Hi guys, my name is Jayanti. I'm a mandala artist and a graphic designer, and today I'm going to be showing you all how to draw a mandala. I would like to take this opportunity and thank the Artemist for making me a part of this very fun collab. I hope after this session you not only learn how to draw mandala but you also feel very relaxed and de-stressed. Throughout this, so this is going to be a beginner friendly session, and throughout this video I'm going to be giving you all some tips and tricks that I have picked up in my almost 4 years of drawing mandalas. So I hope you all enjoy, and let's get started. The materials you will need for today are a pencil and eraser, a scale, you will need a protractor and a compass. Along with this you will be needing some pens. I am using the Micron pigment liners. I am using a 200 GSM Fabriano paper. Next we are going to mark out the center of our paper. For that we mark out the midpoint of all the 4 sides. Once our midpoints are marked, we connect them, and the intersection point is our center. That is the place we are going to begin. Once our intersection point is marked, we are going to divide each quadrant into 4 parts. We first mark out the half for 90 degrees, which is 45 degrees. Next we divide the 45 degrees further into a half. So we mark out at 22.5 degrees, and then between 45 degrees and 90 degrees we mark out the half again, which is 67.5 degrees. So we make our marks at 22.5 degrees, 45 degrees, 67.5 degrees and 90 degrees. This we do on all 4 quadrants to form the lines for our grid. So I've also often had people ask me this question, that what can they do if they don't have a protractor and a compass. In that case you can download a polar grid online, or you could DM me on my art collective and I am going to send you a polar grid where you can just trace the grid on your paper, and that will be the template you are going to refer to just to make your drawing more symmetrical and neat. So it is not necessary for you to have a protractor and a compass. Once all our points are marked, we connect them. So your race should look something like this. Now the first circle I am making is almost of a 1 centimeter radius. There are no restrictions when it comes to drawing the radiuses of a circle. You can keep going the way you want to, but just to give you a little bit more context, I am going to be telling you how much every radius measures. The radius of my third circle is approximately 2.5 centimeters and the fourth circle is 3 centimeters, but you are free to play with your own sizes. It's always better to start drawing with a pencil because it helps you modify and change your drawings and make it more accurate. It's much easier. So for our first design, we start by drawing an inverted V on top. The tip touches the middle part of the circumference of the first circle, and the lines are slanting lines which move towards the center and are drawn against the grid lines that we drew earlier. For the next circle, we just draw small lines which are very close to each other throughout the circle. The reason why I am drawing it very close to each other is to give it a more intricate touch. You could draw it wide apart as well. For our third concentric circle, we are drawing a shape similar to a leaf. So it starts from the intersection point of the grid and the circumference of the previous circle, and the tip is somewhere in the middle of the circumference of the third circle. So if you find trouble forming the shape, you can start by marking out the middle point approximately, and then you can join it to form a complete shape, which will somewhat look like that of a leaf. Just in between these leaves, we are drawing smaller leaf-like structures, which the tip of which is at the intersection point of the grid line and the circumference of the third circle. For the next shape that we are drawing, it's absolutely on top of the previous smaller leaf that we made, only a little further away, but it follows the same shape. The only difference is that we are extending it further and making a smaller leaf-like structure on top, which is much tinier and thinner in comparison to the previous one. It almost looks like that of a flame of a candle. So just to give you a little bit more context to explain, I am showing it to you once more. If you are having trouble drawing it directly in one go, what you can do is you can make the bigger leaf first, followed by the tinier one on top. So you can draw it separately, that it's a part of the same design. So you start a little far away from the smaller one you made and then go on. Now that I'm happy with how the size and shape of my design looks, it is now that I make the circular grid. I don't generally make the grids first. I like to experiment with my shapes and see if I'm happy with how they look before I make a grid. So once I make one design and I'm happy with how the size and the look, or if I want to modify it, I do that, and then when I know the place I wanted to stop, that is, I make the grid line marking that particular radius. So I only mark the first few concentric circles, and after that I go with the flow of the design. So between these designs, again I'm going in with a leaf-like structure, and I'm going to outline it, keeping a very tiny distance in between them to make the shape look more complete. Now in case you want a reference point for this particular shape, you can mark it out on your compass and draw a circle against which you will complete the rest of the design. Now the next part can get slightly tricky, so I'll try to explain the best I can. Again, here I'm drawing it first without any circular grid, and once I'm happy with the look of it, then again I'm going to go in with the compass. So what I'm doing here is that I'm starting slightly away from the flame shape that I taught you. So for this shape, you start by drawing two lines beside the flame-like shape that you made, keeping a small distance between them, following which is going to be another leaf-like structure, but it won't be a sharp V. It's almost like a soft V, a soft leaf-like shape. So the entire thing almost looks like an arch. Again, I'm going to go in with a smaller shape just inside, such that it looks that this design has an outline to make it look more complete and compact. Now in between these arch-like designs, we are going to draw a small curve which will be against the circular grid that you have drawn. This curve will have another curve on top of it, just keeping a very tiny distance in between. Against this, we are going to draw a shape which is like very thin petals of a flower. Again, a very compact design, just to fill in the gaps in between the arches that we have drawn. So the petals that I am drawing again are not touching the outermost circle. It's slightly below it, just to give it a little bit more variation and to not make everything look at the same height, to give it a little bit more dimension. So we are going to mark the midpoint of the outermost circle in those segments where the flower petals that we just drew lie. So just above the flower petals, we are going to take a very rough or very approximate midpoint of those particular segments and slightly mark them with a pencil. Now once our midpoints are ready, we start by joining them to form a leaf-like structure. Once I'm happy with the size, I'm going in with my compass to mark out the outline grid. I'm again going in with the same shape inside, leaving a very small space in between for the same reason, to make it look more compact and more intricate. Next, in between these shapes, I'm going to make another small triangle shape, which is going to be slightly bigger than the one we made previously. You can mark out the midpoint, which will indicate where the tip of the leaf will be. Once you are done with this, we are going to go in and form an inverted teardrop shape. Following this, the next step is we make a similar shape down the side of our leaf, only keeping in mind that each shape will be smaller than the previous one. So if you notice, you will see that it forms like a step-like format. Only thing that the edges are round instead of being a pointy one. You can fit in as many as you want, and you can go as broad or as narrow you want to be. So after you make the teardrop shape, you go down both the sides with the same shape, but it gets smaller. Now that was our last step for the basic structure of our mandala that we made with a pencil. Next we are going to go in with our pens. I'm using a Micron 0.5 size to outline the entire mandala that we just made with a pencil. For the first layer, the detail I'm making is I'm just dropping one line straight from the tip to the center, which cuts each shape in half. That is enough detail because it's a small space, we don't want to overcrowd that. Next, we have outlined this circle, and you will see there are small tiny white gaps in between, and to make it look more neat and more complete, we are going to color those small gaps. Here, if you have one, you can use a smaller size pen just to make it easier to color. Now I'm also outlining the second concentric circle and filling in the lines that we made before. It is not necessary that you have to outline each and every single circle. We are outlining the first two because a shape is in between them, and the circle needs to be there, otherwise the shape will be incomplete. But for the rest of the shapes, you will notice that it is not required. It already looks like a complete shape. So the tiny triangles that we have made in between the first layer of leaf-like shapes, I'm filling it in with a small design. Again, it's a small space, so I'm not doing anything too intricate. It's just a line I'm taking from the bottom halfway through and following it with a small dot on top, which is not hollow, it's colored, but you could make it hollow as well. You could just give in a dot. So you can play around with the designs, and you're absolutely free to do whatever you want to do. For the shape which is on the next layer, I'm splitting that shape in half by pulling down one line from the top to the bottom, and then filling in only one side with slanting lines like that of the veins of a leaf. You can keep the other side blank, but here I'm going to be putting small tiny dots on the other side. Again, for something like this, you can use a thinner pen if you want to. For the shape next to it, the smaller, tinier leaf part that we made before, I'm just filling it in by drawing another smaller one inside and coloring it. The next shape we are working with is the first leaf-like layer that we made. For this, dropping one line from the tip to the bottom and covering both the sides with tiny veins. Only the top I have colored it more densely in such a way that it looks like there's a small colored diamond shape on top. You can feel free to not do that. You can spread the veins out further apart with a larger gap in between each vein. Now the small curves that we made on next to the arch-like shapes, I'm making the bottom curve slightly thicker than the one on top to give it a little bit more definition, and I'm tracing over some shapes to give it a little bit more of a depth and to make it look a little bit more intricate. Now this was something that I added when I was drawing directly with the pen, just to give a slight last detail. You can feel free to skip that. There are no rules. It's like the same flame shape that we made before. You can go in with making the bigger leaf first and then the small flame like structure. Feel free to do it if you want to. If you don't want to, again, there are no restrictions. For the shape which has the teardrop design inside the leaf-like shape there, I'm making two small curves. I'm coloring the smaller one, and the bigger curve that I made on top, I'm making very small round petal-like shapes. So you simply start by making two curves. You color the smaller one, and against the curve that you've made on top, you make very small and very rounded petal-like shapes. Now against the bigger leaf-like shape, I'm going to go in with a small spiral designs. I'm going to work from slightly further away from the tip and make a spiral which touches the corners. And against the bottom part of the spiral, I'm going to make again small rounded petal-like shapes. If you want, you can go in with a pencil first, again like I did for a shape like this. We are done with the drawing. You can now erase all the grid lines and you will get your final mandala. So this was it for today, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. If you have any questions, you could leave it down in the comments, or you could DM me on my Instagram handle @myartcollective. And we would love to see what you create, so do tag us in your creations. And until then, thank you for watching and stay safe.